reading for the Aquarius male for the winter of 2017, which is December of 2017 into January, February, March of 2018. So that it's winter in Canada, but it may be different in other countries here. I have a pyramid spread. I split the energies. I work with masculine and feminine, so we'll go with that. And then I have 3 clarifier cards to accentuate any certain situation that needs to be illuminated. And then I have 2 clarifying cards at the end here. The first card we get for the Aquarian male is ecstasy. So we may have some males here in the throes of passion and enjoying that in a certain sense. Feeling good within a relationship. The next card we get is play. So this play card here, I'm getting a sense that it's like, okay, don't tell anybody but. Don't tell anybody but. So there's it kind of taints the ecstasy. It makes me wonder, what is it that we have to keep quiet here? Why are we needing to not divulge all the information? So we have to be aware of that. There's something. These are both the same color card. So we have to be aware that in the bedroom, if there's something going on, we have to illuminate that. There's something in the bedroom that's going on that is not being dealt with. I'll put it that way. The next card I get is renewal. So this kind of, it's interesting because we have the sunshiny kind of yellow on the sides, and then all of a sudden we get all this chaotic dark energy of renewal. Now the renewal is supposed to be letting in new energy, and I feel like there was an energy here that these Aquarian males were coming from, and this is turning into a relationship reading. I feel that it was sunshiny, it was happy, it was vibrant, and it was good, and we're indulging in that, and now it is turned into dark, kind of forceful energy where one feels trapped. So we need to be aware of that going on. The next card I get is obstacles. So that's right on the heels of the ecstasy, right? So there's some challenges that you're facing here when it comes to your personal life and private life in regards to a partner, physical partner, nonetheless, because the ecstasy really bears down to the physical side of things. And I feel like that's the area that is really, that we're pinpointing here, is the physical side of this relationship. We're having obstacles of things that we don't want to say, don't want to discuss, don't want to illuminate. So we have to be aware that that's creating an obstacle, because I feel like the silence is a problem, and it could really unload a lot of things if it's just discussed. The next card we get is fear. It's not good attached to the play, because you could be doing something out of fear to avoid the ecstasy that you're feeling. So there's a real instance here where we have to look at what it is we're afraid of, and we have to confront that head on in order to move forward in a good way. And I feel like the play here, I feel like we may be playing with our fear, but not confronting it. You realize it's there, and you're kind of playing with it, but we're not getting anywhere. We're not making any spiritual soul headway. We got to do something with it. Can't just look at it and say, yeah, there it is. We have to do something with it. I feel like that's a confrontation. We have to confront it. And also it's, the fear is on the heels of the renewal. So there's something that has to change, something that has to be renewed, refreshed. So we need to do what we need to do to get that refreshment, whatever that may be. Maybe a break, taking a break from a relationship, and maybe working in a different mindset, a change of your mind. Where are you headed with your mind? Let's go in this direction instead. See how that works if we go from there, because that will kind of counteract the fear. So where we end up at is perfection. So we have to be aware here, because I'm getting a sense that this perfection is one-sided. I feel like somebody has an idea of what's perfect, and they're not sharing it with the other person. And not only that, They're not having the faith that that person can pull it through for them. So they really have to share outward. That's really what I'm getting here. The Aquarius male has to share outward everything that he's feeling in order to really reignite that ecstasy, because the ecstasy is on the way out, and the play has come into the play part has come in right now. There's a sense of playing with someone's emotions here that needs to be stopped. And the reason they're playing is because they want it their way. They want it their way, and they're not willing to accept any other way. So the fear is that they're going to end up alone. Well, it's going to happen if they don't confront their fears and face the obstacles that are in the path of the ecstasy, because you're being blocked from a lot of the good, positive side of things here because of your attachment to wanting things your way. So you need to let go of that, renew your energy, whatever it takes to do that. Like I said, there may be a relationship that needs to pause in order to gain some perspective. Do we really want this? Do I really need to go forward with this? Or just a change of perspective, a mindset that needs to be changed from a positive to a negative, or from a left to a right wing centered thinking. You know, and that's so the perfection here I feel is a very negative end point. We need to really stave that off. Now the 3 clarification cards I get. The 7 of Cups. The 7 of Cups is about options, about daydreaming, being in your head. And if we have someone here that is being blocked or having obstacles, it's kind of almost like a removal, but not physically, but a mental removal of the person from the relationship, thinking about other options. What can I do? Where can I go from here? What are my options? Now, the next card I get is the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is usually about guidance, going outward to gain guidance to, you know, in a spiritual sense, that could be, you may be tapping into your spirituality. You know, you may be looking to a higher sense of things than yourself. So the 7 of Cups is looking away. You know, if you're turning to your spirituality, your mind is in a different direction than that. It's really floating in the midst here. And interestingly enough, the next card we get is the 4 of Swords. So that is kind of the rest and rejuvenation card. We're trying to recharge our batteries because we've kind of we've come, you know, to the end of our power source. We got to recharge. We're low on energy. It's interesting, you know, I'm seeing the Hierophant more as, you know, that instinctive voice within you that you're really trying to center on. You've got this one side of you that is off in la la land and thinking about things and, you know, letting a lot of stuff come in, idealizations it could be as well, but just trying to escape really the reality that you're in. Then I have the solid, you know, spiritual connection to your intuition saying, we got to deal with this. And then the 4 of Swords, where you are actually taking your own time out mentally. You're kind of trying to gain some power. So you're not really active in that way, but sometimes, you know, no action is a good thing. So, and in this case, I feel like it's very warranted. So there's a sense here of pause and resting to gain, you know, gain your thoughts back in a good way, a grounded way. Because, right, you know, we're in the process of going from daydreaming to like, okay, we got to deal with reality here. So there's a balance here trying to happen because we've got part of this man's brain off in la la land and part of it's trying to get back to reality, and we're just trying to keep it balanced. Yeah, doesn't really say anything for so much as the scenario, as much as this man's feeling it. And he's got to make a decision. He hasn't made that yet. He needs to take time to do that. So I have a Power of Surrender card and a Fortune card that I pull. Now the Power of Surrender that we have for the Aquarian male is surrender your ego. Cultivate gratitude, be of service to others, and come from your heart. A big ego can work against you, but humility will further your goals. I think the Aquarian male knows the difference between his ego, but we may have a confusion here. He may not. He may be listening to his ego and thinking that that is his higher self, that that is the right way to go and that's the only way to go. Or he's just doing that selfishly and knowing so, and not willing to change for anyone. And that would be something that really would have to change in order to be a pertinent part of a relationship. You have to give that ego up, because it really just it just crashes and burns wherever you go. So it just doesn't make for a sustainable relationship when the ego is running the show. So things to get rid of, things to surrender: your ego. So it seems like the Aquarius male is just having a struggle with his ego right now, and he is going to have to deal with that full on. The next card I get for fortune is Mountain. Know that you are protected as you face challenges, but remain cautious. So it seems like this struggle with the ego here and the fear that's coming underneath, there's going to be a little bit of a process here that's going to have to be figured out. But know along the way that you are protected and you're going to face those challenges, but you need to remain cautious to the things that you need to be aware of. I think we may be, in our heads a little bit, to the point where we're not dealing with reality. So we just have to get grounded, deal with the reality stuff, and the rest kind of be aware. Keep your head above the water here. I'm feeling very much this is kind of going under and not caring, going under, and it's like, yeah, I'm just going to stay here because it's quieter and I don't need to deal with anything up there. I don't want to hear the air blowing and all of that. I just want to hear the lull of being under the water. So it's that kind of a thing I'm getting. It's like I don't want to. It's like I don't want to deal with it. But nonetheless, it will be dealt with, whether in a chaotic way or an organized fashion where they're in charge of it. But the Four of Swords is here, so they just need to take that time. And that's a good process. They're in their head, so they're going to take their time and ground out. And I think this may take them till March or so to really get out of that process, to cycle through that and come out on the end. So hopefully that helps. But take that time and make that decision wisely, because you may be hitting this cycle, hitting your head a few more times. If you don't really deal with it, it's just going to come back in another form. So we have to face the fear, and the obstacles are going to be there. There's obstacles there. We just have to climb the mountain and then see the view from the top when we get there. It's like, nope, I don't want to climb the mountain. I just want to sit at the bottom and not do nothing. I'll wait for you guys when you get back. Let me know how it was. That kind of thing. And it's like, nope, you're coming. It's not wanting to take on the challenges, not wanting to go there, not wanting to do that. But nonetheless, this is the path that has to happen. Otherwise, there'll be more obstacles and more challenges and more struggles. But the ego seems to be the center of it all. So that should be easy enough to pinpoint. We just need to go there and start knocking things down. Go to the ego and start shooting those targets, get them out of the range, and then we'll start dealing with things from a different perspective. That renewal of energy will come nonetheless, and it'll just infuse, and then we'll start to see things clear from that end. So hopefully that helps for the Aquarian males over the winter season. So December 17, January, February, March of 18, and we're going to be sitting in this energy up until then. So take care that you are looking and being in the right spots here. Grounding out is really what I'm feeling. You need to ground yourself in the reality, and you'll be fine. And take care of your ego along the way. It doesn't mean stroke it. It means we gotta get rid of it. We gotta get rid of the ego, because or at least put it in its place where it belongs. And in relationships, it usually doesn't belong there in a relationship. It's much smoother ride if you go in with no ego, sitting up front, yelling at directions, and it's like, shut up, smack. So that's the trip for the Aquarians. So hopefully over the Christmas season, you guys have a good Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, that kind of thing. Take care, be safe out there, have fun, and be kind.